Hi all, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to throw knives. I'm going to do that by answering all the questions I had starting out as a knife thrower. What distances do you throw from? What kind of targets do you use? How do you grip the knife? How can you control the rotation of the knife? Everything, every trick in the book I have that got me from total beginner 3 years ago to one of the top competitors now in knife throwing. So I hope you enjoy this video, get to know all my tips and tricks, and I hope that can help you become a better thrower. So get ready to learn all my tricks. Holopainen is a Finnish awesome no-spin thrower. He's made an instructional video about rotational knife throwing as well. And he has more of the Russian style, so I will link to his video as well in the description. So, if you have something that's already working for you, do more of that. You want to find your own style, your own way of throwing. So whatever works for you, do more. But you can incorporate some of the stuff I'm talking about in this video in your style of throwing. So check this out. So what kind of stance should I have? When I throw, I try to stand almost like a boxer in a square. Because if it's windy outside, I don't want to take focus from my mind from throwing to keep my balance. If the ground is tilting a bit or the grass is uneven, you want to have that stable stand. So when I use my stance, I do that because I want to have total focus there, not on my balance. So I try to have like a square, almost like a boxer, where you have all the balanced focus without thinking of it. If you stand almost on a line, you lose balance to the sides. If you stand almost like that, you lose balance forward and backwards. So have that stance where you stand almost like in a square. So when you're standing on the line, you have the stance ready. You need to think of how you lean into the throw or not. Because when you stand like that and lean into it, you're a bit closer to the target than if you stand straight. So when I throw, I lean into the target just a bit. And if I don't, the knife will over-rotate. So that's a way for me to keep the same power each time and the same distance. Lean to it, into it the same way every time. If you want to slow down the rotation, just tilt the knife forward. If you want to increase the rotation, you tilt the knife backwards. If you want a fast rotation but you still have the knife backwards, you can lower the grip. If you raise the grip, it will slow down. If you lower the grip on the blade, it will increase. So let me show you some throws. You have a few different grips. So if I start with hammer grip with this blade straight up, it's going to rotate really fast. Too fast for my style. So it's badly over-rotated. That did stick, but still. I usually throw like that, but I'm going to tilt it even more forward. So you see it's going to under-rotate. So when I usually throw the yak daggers, I hold like that. So you get a straight stick instead. So depending on that grip, you have different rotations and you can change this with any knife. These angels, we usually use them for instructing beginners because they're easy to stick into the target. But they're also good when you trying to learn how to grip the knife with different grips and get different rotations. So I'm gonna throw with the thumb, without the thumb, and one with pinch grip. And you're gonna see the different rotations. Pinch grip. My regular grip. And with the thumb to decrease the rotation. So you have this 3 different grips here. So this one was with the pinch grip, my regular grip, and with the thumb on the spine. You can decrease the rotation by moving backwards, but you really don't want to do that because if you move backwards you lose accuracy, so you want to stand on the line. But I'm just going to show you this anyway. So you have put the thumb on the spine, so it's under rotated, bit more rotated, and it's over rotated. So when I'm moving backwards, the rotation gets less, so increases. So that one was the first one, the second one, the third one. So you can do that, but you really don't want to do that because you lose accuracy. So you want that smooth release when you throw. You want it to slide out of your hand. So you don't want to open the hand like that. You want to just open it a little, so you get that slide when you throw. When I throw, my wrist is always locked in the same position. I don't flick my wrist because it's really hard to get a consistent flick every time. So I have that locked and just let the knife slide. So when you have that smooth release, you also need to think of a good follow through in your motion. So you open the hand just a little, the knife slides out, and you follow through. If you stop the hand there, the knife might over-rotate, and you actually might over-rotate that elbow, hurting yourself. The breathing is really important to me when I throw. I inhale, exhale, and then throw. Just like I did when I was competing in shooting. Inhale, exhale, slowly pull that trigger. So, this is how I do it. And this way it's almost like meditation. You keep your focus, you keep the same pace in your throwing, and it usually pays off with more concentrated throws. In rotational knife throwing, it's really important to see how you rotate that blade. If it's under-rotated or over-rotated. And if the knife don't stick to the target, it's quite hard sometimes to define if it was over or under rotated. So if you have scales on it, it's easier to see. But if you don't have scales, I would suggest that you paint something on one side or just put a tape or something on there. That way it's easier to see if you're under or over rotated. All throwing knives are dull. That means you have no sharp edge on them. They're really pointy though, but they're dull, so you can't cut yourself. When we throw half spin, we grip the knife like that and let it slide out. So you really need a dull blade. You have decided on how to hold the knife, how to release it, how to tilt it in the hand. You have everything down. You're starting to get comfortable with that. When you go to competition, you might get nervous and things might start changing. So you might under-rotate or over-rotate the blade. And if you do that, you shouldn't change the grip at once. You should change the power you put into the knife when you throw. If it's under-rotated, you throw too hard. You should put a little less power in there to give it time in the air to straighten up. If it's over-rotated, you should put a little more power in there to give it less time in the air so it will straighten up. In competitive knife throwing, and this one is rotational style, you throw mostly from 3 meters, 4, 5, 6, 7 meters. In International Knife Throwers Hall of Fame, ICTOF, you also throw from 2 meters, according to their rules. Most people rotate the knife, half spin from 2, full spin from 3, 1.5 from 4, 2 from 5, 2.5 spin from 6, and 3 spin from 7 meters. And that is what most people do, and that's the rule in ICTOF as well. You need to rotate that way. In Euro throwers, you can rotate any way you want. You can throw military half spin all distances, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 meters. So that's totally up to you. I throw the way they do in ICTOF because I like the way you can keep the rotation increasing 1/2 spin from each meter. So the rules in ICTOF, the rules they use in USA, is that the knife need to be 12 inches to 16 inches long. That is 30.5 centimeters to 40.5 centimeters. The minimum size in Europe is 10 inches, 25 centimeters. So many of the Russian throwers, and quite a few in Europe as well, use the smaller blades. And Holopainen is going to show you more of those smaller blades and how he controls the rotation of those. So in most knife throwing competitions, you need 3 similar blades, a set of knives when you compete. What's the difference between these blades? So with some adjustments to the grip, you can throw any thrower. So when you determine the score in knife throwing, you look where the knife comes out of the wood. So in this case, it's not touching the bullseye, so that's a 4. The bullseye is 5 points, and you count backwards going out. And this one is in the 3, but the knife comes out of the 4. So the highest number the knife touches is the score. And that's a 5. So when you compete in knife throwing, you mostly throw from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 meters, 3 throws from each distance when you move back, and then you do that 4 times over. So you can get a bullseye, it's 5 points, and moving backwards, so 0 to 5 points. So in total you can get 300 points. We use log rounds, and we have those 6 inches thick or 15 centimeters. We have a target just sprayed on there. Bullseye is 10 centimeters or 4 inches wide in diameter, and each ring is 2 inches or 5 centimeters. So from the ground to the bullseye, it's 50 inch in the center, on the center target, and 60 inch on the outer targets. In summer, and when we have them indoors, we water them, otherwise they might crack. But they hold up really well, and we throw both axes and knives on them. You have different kinds of throwers. All these throwers are made by really good makers, and they're also competition throwers themselves. So I'm using this one right now. It's the Van Langmiller Pirate. So let's try a quick walk back. So one knife from 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7. See how they rotate. I will do a full review of these later on. So, when you're just starting out or you're an advanced thrower, what kind of blade should you choose? You want a blade that suits your throwing style. You want it to remove as many flaws as you have in your style. So I will do another video on how to choose your throwing knife, because there's so many beautiful, great knives out there, and you have so many different sizes, shapes, lengths, weights to them. So I'm going to do a video on how that affects the way they rotate. So stay tuned for that video as well. Well, thanks all for watching. I know this might seem like a slow video, but I want to get all in there and for you to have something to think about. So if you like knife throwing, axe throwing, check out my channel. I have a lot of other videos out there. And as always, spread the love for throwing.